If I am in this country and I cannot abide by the law of this country, I think I should be deported as well. Why do you come to a country, you know the rules, you know the regulations, especially when you come illegally, you know everything is on the book. If you cannot follow that, if you're not okay with UK being a Christian country, maybe go to a Muslim country then.
Yeah.
There are many, there are plenty. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing it. I don't see any ethnic minority, unfortunately. So, but yeah, it is what it is.
The Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has deported this imam who has lived in Italy for over 30 years. A Pakistani imam in Italy preached that Muslims must fight infidels or suffer catastrophic consequences. The next day, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni called for his deportation despite him living in Italy for 30 years. And the Italians are in full support of this. They are backing her so boldly, saying that she did the right thing. How can you, an Islamic imam, calling for people to take away infidels in another person's country? What does that even mean? You want to bring what is happening in your country, what you are running away from, into Italy. And she ordered for his immediate deportation. He did not spend the night in that country. They deported him. They arrested him immediately. Anybody who speaks of other religions as infidels in Italy will face immediate deportation. This is so remarkable.
Hello good people, welcome back to this YouTube channel. Hoping you're doing well. Kindly take a second or two to hit on that subscribe button, and also don't forget to like the video. Turn on the notification bell so that anytime you get to post a new video, you will be able to watch the video. Okay guys, on today's episode there is a conversation, and it has now become a debate that is going on the social media space, and it's about the Italian people. The Italy are now condemning the Muslim or the Islamic practices that are going on in their country, and most of them are now condemning the covering of their heads for the Muslim women. And in this case, we find that covering, or the Islam covering of their head, it's viewed as modesty, and also it's viewed as identity. When they cover their head, it's a symbol of modesty to them, because it's recorded in the Quran that women should cover their heads. And it does not end there. In Christianity, it's also recorded that women should cover their head, which symbolizes respect for the Christian people, and also being submissive, because they are told that, or it is written that, women should cover their head while conducting prayers or while praying. They have to cover their head to symbolize respect. And also in Judaism, it symbolizes God's presence above them. So they also cover their heads. And the Muslims have come out to ask that, why do the Italian people now condemn them for covering their heads? Kindly let us get to listen to this video, then come back and talk more about it.
So Italy's Giorgia Meloni has just announced a huge crackdown on radical Islam in Italy. Her government has just brought forward a new law that will ban the burqa, ban the niqab, which will issue fines if people wear them in public places like schools, like universities, like hospitals. They've announced a big crackdown on what they call cultural crimes like virginity testing, and new prosecutions for things like forced marriages, and much greater scrutiny of what is going on inside mosques. Now, I don't know about you. My personal view, I think we should be doing some of these things right here in the UK, drawing a line in the sand, making it clear that we expect people who come into our country to play by the rules, to respect our culture, to respect our traditions, and to assimilate into wider society. We cannot have segregated communities. We cannot have a different legal system. We cannot have symbols that underline our cultural differences. So I think Giorgia Meloni's ahead of the curve. Let me know what you think. Come and join us at mattgoodwin.org. We've got nearly 87,000 daily readers, all looking at what is really going on in Western nations like Italy and here in the UK.
Can you tell me, what is the difference between these two women, and why do we condemn one head covering but not the other? In Western society, hijab is often viewed with suspicion, labeled as oppressive, backwards, or even threatening. Yet the nun's veil, a similarly religiously decreed covering, is viewed as a symbol of devotion and piety. Despite their different perceptions, however, these two veils have very similar roots. Because head coverings are not unique to Islam, they are present in the teachings of Christianity and Judaism as well. So to get a deeper understanding, I asked Dean Buddy, an Islamic AI, to explain the similarities and differences between Islamic head coverings and the coverings of other people of the book. In Islam, head coverings for women such as hijab and niqab are seen as a symbol of modesty and identity. They help to identify us as Muslims. And the Quran emphasizes the importance of modesty not just for women but for men too. Allah instructs believing women to draw their veils over themselves to protect their dignity, and men are instructed to cover their aura as well. In traditional Christian communities, women would cover their heads during worship as a sign of respect and submission inspired by teachings in the Bible. Additionally, Jewish women also wore head coverings as a sign of modesty or married status. So I followed up by asking for specific verses. What textual evidence do we have that Christian women did veil? One notable passage is from 1 Corinthians 11:5 and 6, where it's mentioned, "But every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovers dishonors her head." And this is not dissimilar from Quran verses about modesty in Surah An-Nur, which says, "Tell the believing women to reduce some of their vision and guard their private parts and not expose their adornments." Given the historical and spiritual context, these two veils are not dissimilar. So why is it that when a Muslim woman chooses to veil, her agency comes into question? The perception of hijab can often be influenced by cultural, societal, and even media biases that do not accurately represent the deep personal significance that comes with wearing the veil. Hijab is fundamentally about empowerment and choice for many women. It's meant to embody modesty, dignity, and a deep connection to your faith. When embraced willingly, it symbolizes devotion, self-respect, and a conscious decision to portray yourself in a way that aligns with your faith, to portray yourself as a Muslim. And how could there ever be anything wrong with proudly showing one's devotion?
So Portugal has become the latest country in Europe to call for a new law that will ban the burqa, as well as other Islamic face coverings. Those people who wear it could face fines of up to €4,000. And this follows similar partial or full bans in countries like Austria, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. And indeed, Sweden and Italy are also looking at burqa bans. Now, I don't know about you, but I think the UK should follow these countries. We have to make it clear that Western nations are based on Judeo-Christian foundations, and we are not going to allow the use of the burqa and other religious clothing to undermine the integration and cohesion of our societies. We are also not going to compromise in demonstrating and showing our support for women's rights, individual rights, and of course, the civilized nations that we have built over many centuries. If you think like I do, come and join me at mattgoodwin.org, where we have more than 87,000 daily readers all looking at what's really happening in politics today.
There was a bill in Italy proposed earlier this week designed to curb Islamic fundamentalism, separatism, and extremism within the country. The first notable part of the bill is that it prohibits the wearing of full religious face coverings out in public spaces. So that would be things like a burqa that would prevent you from being able to see their face. This is really building off of prior laws that they already had that forbade the use of any sort of face covering in public spaces within the country. The next part of the bill covers funding for mosques and Islamic religious teaching institutions. Essentially, they have to be fully transparent from here on out, and they're not allowed to take foreign religious funds. The proposed bill also bans and criminalizes certain unethical and amoral Islamic practices that are particularly disgusting, such as virginity testing and arranged marriages. Those are now formally, based on this bill, banned in Italy, and they come with criminal charges if you attempt to partake in them. The proposed bill, as well as the Prime Minister of Italy, made it very clear that Sharia will not be allowed to take precedent over Italian law and be used to circumvent the Italian justice system. Austria, Denmark, Belgium, and the Netherlands have all followed suit, proposing very similar bills throughout the week since this bill was first proposed. This bill is likely to pass in Italy because they currently have a party majority in the country's government systems, which is really encouraging for Europe. It helps curb the expansion of Sharia in the West, as well as sort of tells Islamists, tells Muslims, tells these fundamentalists who think they can come into the West and change our culture that no, actually you can't, and you cannot treat women that way, you cannot behave in this manner, this is our country, this is our home, and you have to abide by our rules. And also to the inevitable comments asking about what about Christian law, what about Jewish law, etc., etc. There isn't really an equivocable between Sharia and anything like that. Like we don't have a version of that in the Judeo-Christian faith. But also, what's practiced and suggested and told to be done in the Judeo-Christian faith is nothing like what happens in Islam under Sharia. Those are two very different things with very different rule systems and very different outlooks on justice, life, and equality.
Why is nobody talking about this? This church was burnt down in Milan. For what? For right there. You see that word, right? Gaza. Where's the media? Where's...
Okay, this is a conversation that I think we are supposed to have and actually address it or talk about it, because the Muslim people are like, why are they Italy condemning us or condemning them for covering their heads while they are not condemning Christians for covering their head? Because this issue of head covering, it is recorded both in the Quran and in the Bible, which the Quran is used by the Muslims while the Christians use the Bible. And in Christianity, covering of the head symbolizes respect and being submissive, because it's written that women should cover their head while doing prayers. And in Muslim, that is in Quran, it is written that covering of the head symbolizes modesty, and Muslim women should cover their head as a symbol of identity or modesty. So the Muslims have now expressed their frustration, because they're like, why are you only, or why are the Italians only condemning them and not the Christians? Because they think they both cover their heads, and even the Jewish men still put on kippah, and the Italians are not actually against them. So the Muslims have come out at least to express how they feel about them covering their heads and why you people are condemning them for some. And a political decision in Italy has caused a debate across social media. Some people believe that the move is about strengthening national security and maintaining public order. Others argue that the government has introduced strict policies so as to protect the stability and the national identity, and this is the national stability of its country and the national identity. So by putting restrictions some in religious practices, some people see it so frustrating and unfair, because this is something that they have been practicing it years and years, and for you people to condemn them, they feel kind of it's unfair for them, because it's also you people are going against their practices, or you people are going against what they have been taught or what is encouraged in the Quran. I don't know what you think about it. Kindly comment down your thoughts on the comment section. Till the next episode, guy. Bye.